encapsulated by each of their points, and going over why they are inherently flawed. Then I'm going to go back into our memories and kind of recall the banter that we had in this debate, and kind of doing some more constructive clash on some points that were not hammered on a bit harder or were not brought up in this debate so far. Before I do that, I'm just going to say one last thing. Side opposition is done with the definitions debate. We're done with it. We have stated our opinion on it, and we believe that our definitions have truly shown what we believe is in the spirit of this debate. Now I'm going to move on. So first of all, the first pillar was human nature, and the gist of this was when other people see, when people see other people having a better lifestyle, they're more inclined to revolt. And what we've seen in the world today is that there are two actually situations that kind of happen in the world with these autocratic nations. One, the nation has created a leader, like Kim Jong-un, and that leader has been idolized to a point where people have been almost brainwashed. It is very sick, it is wrong, but that is how it is. So the people have been kind of put through an indoctrination process, which means that pretty much they agree with everything going on in their life, and they believe that what they're doing is all for the sake of their great leader. Now I also want to mention for that moment that countries that are also too poor, really, at that point, if you are at that state of a low level, like a country like Liberia, you don't care about revolt, you care about what your next meal will be. Wouldn't you agree?
Doesn't this just create that the internet is a mechanism that will bring liberal views to these people, so they will actually realize there is a liberal side to political opinion or social life?
Now, here's the thing about that, ladies and gentlemen. My partner Michael already deeply elaborated on this, how these countries have created a system in which they have been able to create an internet infrastructure in which they maintain their power by reducing the internet's influence. Now I'm going to go over some of the concrete points in their first pillar, human nature. So first they said that people will gravitate towards a better life, and I already said that even though that we are in the age of the internet, there are still people who, because either they are too poor or they have been indoctrinated to a point of no return, that they simply will not look for this better life. It's a sad fact, but it is true. Now, the Arab Spring. The Arab Spring came up a lot in this debate, and I'm very glad that it did. Now, the Arab Spring was a big base of side propositions argument today, ladies and gentlemen. Now, yes, the Arab Spring did happen, and we are not saying that it definitely happened. But ladies and gentlemen, let's look at why the Arab Spring is an anomaly. Both sides. Calm down. And I really want to highlight this because the problems in the Middle Eastern world have been, I guess, they date back to thousands of years. This isn't just a problem that has happened because of the internet. Alright? It's happened because you have thousands of years of religious strife in the area. You have foreign involvement with the United States and Britain coming into the area, and Russia coming in and pretty much creating kind of upheaval where these autocracies could, I guess, kind of manifest. And of course, you also have their close proximity. Wouldn't you agree?
We understand that there were other issues in the Arab Spring, but the fact is, there are other issues in any autocracy, because autocratic governments... Wait,
that's exactly what I was going to come to, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's look at a country like, I'm going to say it again, North Korea. What is the difference between the Arab Spring and North Korea, ladies and gentlemen? North Korea does not have this 1,000-year-old history of religious battles time and time again in Europe, and it definitely was not as strong as the Middle East. No, thank you. All right, I'm going to go into the last point in this pillar, and that was, what are we forgetting? The majority of autocracies in the world that exist are autocracies because they have eliminated the internet. If we only look at small cases in which these countries have had internet access, we're not looking at the big picture. We on side opposition have brought in sides from both angles, where the internet has existed and where the internet hasn't. And actually, I'm going to go into that right now in their second pillar, which was indirect context. Now, the main theme of this point was internet access. And they explained how the internet works. You know, you have Twitter, you have Facebook, you have social media. But even if the Western world can access all these mediums, it doesn't do anything to those autocratic nations because it's not a way. You can't access the internet to some person who isn't waiting on the other side. That's how the internet works, right? No, thank you. So pretty much with the internet access, it doesn't work both ways. Also, I wanted to get into how. No, thank you. And this is a perfect example. And I really want to stress, ladies and gentlemen, even in the internet age, in a country that does have internet, and I You have this socialist, very strict socialist regime. Some people can't even buy milk. It's so terrible there. And the people do have internet access, and yet they can't revolt and they can't do anything about it because the leader has inflicted so much military and social influence in the area that they cannot do anything about it. And this actually, once again, fits very nicely into their third contention, which was the global intervention piece. Now, they said that when people get informed, at least us in the Western world, when we get informed about these nations, that we can go in, attack, and solve everything. Ladies and gentlemen, if this were true, we know about North Korea, we would have gone into North Korea and saved the people, we haven't. We would have gone into Venezuela and saved the people, but we haven't. We would have gone into Libya, and we haven't. We've gone into Liberia, but we haven't. Ladies and gentlemen, this clearly proves that it completely nullifies their point about helping other people, because really we haven't done anything. Let's look at China, for example. Now, China has come up a lot in this debate, and we can see that again, they're a country, and the people actually do know that they have they're all people who have perhaps a better life, and you don't see any social revolution happening in China in terms of a huge uprising. Ladies and gentlemen, this country does have access to the internet, but their government has such strong control over the military and the social influence that they have kind of taken this out of control. Now, they also said, and I believe it was in the Arab Spring part of their kind of piece, was that if a revolution fails, so let's look at Libya, for example. So in Libya, we see this kind of relapse back into an autocratic regime, and yet it's gone back. They had their revolution with the internet. We're not going to have another. A team cannot say we'll have another revolution that will solve everything. Clearly not. Clearly, this problem is so deep-rooted in the Middle East that it cannot be solved simply by the internet. They mentioned the Coney movement failed. I'm not going to mention anymore. Why haven't we sampled into North Korea? Why haven't we sampled into China? Why haven't we gone into Venezuela? Ladies and gentlemen, their complete global intervention point has failed. Now, I'm going to go over quickly what we have said. And I know it's been a long day. All right. In our first pillar, we said we didn't just list a bunch of countries that had this not access to the internet. No, they were a list that completely disproves Side Proposition's point. The Arab Spring, I've already mentioned, it was an anomaly, and internet infrastructure, how the internet and how autocracies work, and pretty much use the internet to and block it so they don't have any influence. Ladies and gentlemen, Side Proposition has clearly won this debate. We've completely nullified each and every point of Side Proposition. Thank you very much.